Hey everybody, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video, we're taking a look at these powered heated towing mirrors in textured black with clear turn signals fitting 2007 to 2014 F-150s. If you're towing and hauling with your F-150, you know that those stock mirrors can be woefully inadequate as far as visibility goes. These are going to give you better visibility with a larger surface area for the glass, additional lighting, plus some more adjustability versus stock. So these are going to make for an excellent upgrade from your stock mirrors, and they won't hurt your wallet either. When you've got a big trailer out behind your truck or a huge load in the bed, being able to see properly makes all the difference in your confidence behind the wheel. So if your F-150 came with the standard size mirrors and you find yourself towing or hauling a lot, then you owe it to yourself to upgrade. These mirrors feature larger main sections of glass in addition to the convex portions down below. These are going to provide you with much more surface area so you can better place your truck and trailer as well. Now these can be manually extended too, making it easy to see if you've got a larger or longer trailer or a large load behind you. They're also going to retain your factory power adjustments for the main mirror glass, so regular adjustments are super easy to do. In addition, these also retain the heating function, so on cold or snowy mornings, just switch on your defroster and these are going to clear off with no effort from you. Now it is worth noting that the heater function will only work, however, if your truck was originally optioned that way. But there's more. On the outside, these are finished in textured black to match the existing trim on your truck, so they look just like a factory option. And these also include some additional lighting. So on the back side, you get integrated turn signals with a clear lens. Now these are going to work in conjunction with your turn signals, of course, to make your rig more visible out on the roads. Now the outer housings are made from ABS plastic, much like other trim pieces on your truck. So they'll be lightweight, durable, and again, they're gonna match very well to that factory trim, making them look and function just like your stock mirrors. And these are designed to be a direct bolt-on operation, making installation relatively simple too. Pricing will come in at about $425 for the pair, which makes them a pretty affordable option considering all that you get. Between the heating function, the additional mirrors, and the lights, you're getting a lot here, and these are going to be a vast improvement in visibility versus your stock mirrors. So if you are towing or hauling a lot, it's a small price to pay for the additional visibility and safety that these are going to provide you. Installation will come in at a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and they should only take you about an hour to install. Now these are a plug and play installation, and the necessary adapter harnesses are included in the kit, so you don't need to worry about making any modifications to your truck or doing any wiring. However, it is worth noting though that if your truck didn't have the heating function or the turn signals already on it from the factory, you are gonna have to do some wiring. But if your truck came equipped that way originally, these are just gonna plug right in for you. All that said though, let's hand things over to one of our AT customers who's gonna show you the process.
So the tools you're going to need for this are 3 different socket sizes. You want 6mm, 8mm, and 11mm. I like to use an extension for most of these. Obviously your ratchet wrench. You'll need some sort of tool to get off the covers to access a couple of the bolts. I use this one for the door handle. You can use anything that's sort of L-shaped. I'm using a dental tool to get to the other panel, which is the part of the door where you pull it closed. There's a bolt in there. So I'm also going to be using some Gorilla Tape just to seal up the areas around the mirror after it's installed. Okay, so the first step is going to be removing the mirrors that are existing on the truck. So that involves opening the door. So what we're going to need to do is take off this panel, and that's pretty easy to do. So I'll show you how to do that. So this is where we're going to use some tools that are a little unorthodox. So the first bolt is behind this little panel. I'm going to use this dental tool. Just pop that panel off, grab it, and there's our bolt. This bolt is an 8mm, so we'll use our 8mm bolt we'll use our 8mm socket to get that off. So now that we have the cover off, we're going to use our 8mm socket wrench and just pop that off. Sometimes they get a little stuck and you'll just have to give it a little bit of grease, and there we go. So this is the panel we'll need to get to in order to get to the next bolt. To do that, you'll want to hold the handle forward, use your Allen wrench or whatever tool you use and kind of slide it back here. You want to pull this direction. Try to pull forward on the panel and it should pop off. Should being the operative word. There we go. Panel is off. Now we can see the bolt. This is also an 8mm, so we'll use the same wrench as the other one. So now we'll use our 8mm wrench and get this off. This one does feel a little bit loose as you're removing it. It is kind of wobbly, so that's normal. It's not into the hard fixed surface on the other side. Bolt. The next two bolts are right here on the bottom of the door panel and right here. These are the two on the bottom that you'll need to get off. These are 6mm, so I've got my 6mm socket and I'll pop these off. One screw. And there's our last screw. Now what we do is simply pull up, just give it a little pop but gentle on this door panel, and it should come up like this. And now we have access to the mirror and where it mounts. So what I do is you want to have another person hold this for you so you're not stressing these clips on the bottom where it sits into the door frame itself. You can, if you're in a pinch, let it sit like this. I recommend getting somebody to hold it for you so it doesn't break. So after we've popped the panel off, now we have access to the 3 nuts that hold the mirror in place and the wiring harness behind this moisture shield. So we'll take these nuts off using our 11mm socket. Again, I recommend having somebody help you with this so that when the nut comes off on the last one, it doesn't drop to the floor. But you can sort of wiggle it so that it stays in place. Just be really careful as you're removing these, not to let the mirror fall. Okay, so I'm going to hold the mirror on the other side of the door while I pull this off so that it doesn't fall. And I'm just going to gently make sure that it's going to stay in place until I can grab it again. So now I'll hold it. The next piece is pulling up this moisture shield a little bit. If your truck has any sort of age to it, this glue is probably a bit old now, which is why you can utilize some duct tape or Gorilla Tape to correct that. So now we're just going to remove this wiring harness. There's just one little clip right here. We'll press with our finger and pull. And there you go. Now the mirror is completely free and we will remove it. I'm just going to grab it from this side. I recommend going to the other side. Make sure you use 2 hands. But I'm just going to pull it off here. And now our mirror is free. Now we've got our new mirror ready to install. These little caps just pull right off. They're just for protection during shipping for the bolts. And we will go ahead and get started. We've got our new mirror ready to install. First thing is we're just going to mount it into the 3 holes here. And then the wiring harness will go through this rectangular hole here. So as you bring it through, this comes off. Wow, I didn't realize I even had a clip there. So the wiring harness comes off, so we'll kind of feed that through a little bit as we're putting this on. Make sure that the wiring harness goes through there. All right, now that's through, and we'll make sure that it goes through the top hole here. If you are doing this by yourself, make sure you have one of the nuts from removal in your hand so that you can apply it. Might have to go blind a little bit, but you can see once you start it, at least get that top nut on so that the mirror is going to be secure and won't fall off. Okay, so our mirror is very tentatively on. So what we're going to do first is connect the wiring harness. Make sure that's nice and snug and it clips into place. Now we're going to test the electrical. So now that we've confirmed that the electrical is operating properly, we can go ahead and button everything up and make sure that everything is tight. So we have one nut that's hand tight, and we'll just get the other ones on now. kind of work the mirror into place from the other side with your hand. So that's hand tight. Now the last one. Before I cinch all of this down, let's make sure that the wiring harness is recessed back in here a little bit so that this lays a little more flush. With this moisture shield, I've replaced these mirrors before, so I used some tape. That's why I have tape as one of the tools. This may be loose in areas. You want to make sure that it's snug in the areas that it needs to be. So I've applied some tape over here to make sure that there's not any water getting into the wiring harness. So now that they're hand tight, we know that our moisture shield is going to be in place. We're going to go ahead and tighten everything down. Just like with anything that has multiple bolts, we're going to go in a bit of a pattern without cinching any one bolt down too hard. And that's about it there. We'll double check. Yep. Okay, those are snug. And now all we need to do is reinstall the door panel. So the way we do that is the opposite way we got it off. We're gonna lift it over so they land in these. There are all these little hooks that go into the door frame. The trickiest part is getting it over this lock. So we want to make sure we line it up with this part of the door panel and get that over that lock. Otherwise we're going to have a tough time. So up we go. Over the lock and kind of give it a good amount of pressure this way. So want to make sure it's above. Give it a good amount of pressure that way to try to get it over that lock. You may have to fidget with positioning a little bit. Okay, now I've confirmed that the lock is in place there. Everything has slid in, and we'll just gently pull it down and make sure that there's no more movement. So confirm lock operation by unlocking. Okay, so we're good to go. Next, we just need to reinstall the bolts. Firstly, we'll install the bolt behind the door handle. Just hand tighten that first, now it's in place. Again, this moves quite a bit while you're either installing or uninstalling it, so don't be worried about that. And this is a long one, so it takes a little bit. And we're snug. Now to cover that, we'll reinstall the panel here. Again, you can see this little lip here, that's going to go towards this side. Kind of like a battery cover on a remote control. We're going to pull this out. We're going to push this end in. There's a little gap here for this little piece there. All right, so we'll slide this behind here. This end goes in first. Okay, so now this is in place. And now we just push this into place. And now we're secure. Next, we'll reinstall the bolt for this little handle here in the door panel. Again, this is the 8mm. Just get that started gently by hand. And now we're seated in the threads, so we're good to go. Work that in there. And now tighten. All right. And then we've got our little panel that goes on top of that. So just by hand, just kind of slide that in there and clip it down. The last step, reinstalling these two screws on the bottom of the door panel with our 6mm socket. One. And that's two. Double check the door panel's secure and there's no movement and everything is where it should be. One thing I did note, if you are going to use tape on the moisture guard here, just be aware that it will show past the door panel here. There's a little bit of tape you can see on the door frame. You can only see it when the door is open, but if that's something that's going to bother you, You can note where it comes out, maybe trim that if you like. But that's it. We've confirmed the operation of the mirror. We've buttoned everything up. We've buttoned everything up so it's nice and tight. So we've got our mirror installed. The process is exactly the same on the other side, so just repeat those steps.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the powered heated towing mirrors in textured black with clear turn signals fitting 2007 to 2014 F-150s. Thanks for watching, and as always, for all things F-150, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.